What's up, everyone? This is the greatest travel podcast in the universe. Probably. I'm your host, Fraser LeVay, InspireTravelEat.com, where you can read about everything we talk about here. And today, I'm taking you to paradise on earth. It's not quite a full secret, but it's not very well known either. And I struggled with writing about this or telling anyone to go because I don't want to be spoiled. Some Arizona hikers right now are like pissed. Oh, you're going to tell all the Arizona hiking secrets, but not going to do this. Yep. Yeah. Even my friends urge me not to tell or talk about this place, but I just have to. It's too incredible not to share. The place is Nosara, Costa Rica. And wow, you need to go there. If you're thinking about going to Costa Rica for a beach, do not go to Tamarindo or Jaco. I talked about Tamarindo before, and I actually looked up synonyms for shithole because I just called it a shithole a bunch of times. So I called Tamarindo a shithole. It's a slime hole, cesspit, dump, shit pit. That makes sense. Sleaze hole, scum hole, Vice City. I never knew Vice City meant bad. I guess I should have. Gamora? The girl from Marvel? No idea. And Augean Stable? I don't know what that means. Hopefully I don't get in trouble, and that means some terrible shit. Anyways, you need to not go to either of those Yako, Hako, however you say it, Tamarindo. Go to Nasara, go to Samara, and you will be the happiest person on earth. Nosara is probably what Tamarindo was 30 years ago. And you hear me repeat this all the time about stuff. Like, go to places that won't be the same in 20, 30 years. Like, for instance, I don't know, Paris was always going to be Paris. 25 years ago, if you go back in time, it's pretty much the same. Obviously, there's changes. Everywhere changes, but not drastic changes. New York 25 years ago was the same. Minor change. Thanks a lot, Bin Laden. I'm probably going to have to edit that out. But anyways, let's go back to beautiful Nosara. It's zen. It's gorgeous. Oh my God. I could go on and on and on. It's getting a little busy, but it's still nothing crazy. If you just want to relax and you want a beach vacation, this is the beach vacation to go to, especially just because if you live in North America, it's easy to get to. You can fly into Liberia, and that's like a 2.5, 3 hour ride from there, and you're in this beautiful little spot. It's cheap to get to as well from the Americas. Like comparatively, obviously, you go to Vietnam or Cambodia, but that's a harder one to do. That you need to do 2 or 3 weeks, or you're going to go over to Asia. Ideally, here you can do 5 days minimum. Ideally, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have to check it out. Only if you want just a pure beach vacation. There's other little stuff to do, but it's definitely not an adventure hotspot such as Manuel Antonio or La Fortuna, which I love so much. So if you want adventures, go check out those spots. I will do a podcast about those soon enough. I've done one actually on Manuel Antonio, so check that out. Or there's a full best things, bucket list things to do on InspireTravelEat.com. But back to Nosara, the restaurants, some of the best restaurants I've ever been to, just in terms of ambiance and views. There's some of the best surfing in the world. I'm not a yogi by any stretch of the imagination, but it's like a yoga, health, wellness, Zen paradise. Like all you see is people doing yoga everywhere. So if you want like a party, don't go here. If you want still that is some nightlife, and there still is a good party, but it's not like Cancun, Tamarindo, anything like that. It's just a nice balance of, if you're over 30, go here. Maybe if you're like 21 and you want spring break, go to Cancun or Cabo, both of which I don't like, or Tulum. Tulum's a little bit better at least, but still. Here is where if you just want like a true, relaxing, beautiful vacation, come here. There's monkeys. If you're my friend Blake, you can't find monkeys. But most people can find monkeys. And let's get into it. So there's two beaches. There's Nosara. In Nosara, there's two beaches, Playa Guiones and Playa Pilada. So where to stay? Real quick, and I'll cover this more at the end, but it's cheaper in Pilada because the beach isn't as nice. It's less busy. It's more local. But the main place you want to stay is Guiones if you can, and be walkable to that. It's expensive as hell, though. That's the whole drawback to Nosara is it is ridiculously expensive compared to other Latin American places. So you can eat cheap. You can live cheap if you want to stay in a hostel or something like that. You can always make anywhere cheap. But if you want to enjoy your time like you could anywhere else and kind of spend a little bit, go to nice restaurants, don't expect cheap. It'll be like USA prices for drinks and food, depending where you go. It's absolutely outrageous. But still, you have to go before it changes and turns into potentially a tamarindo or something like that. So yeah, Guiones, apologize if I pronounce everything incorrectly, but stay there if you can. There's also a mountain up in behind that takes about 15 minutes to drive down. It's not really walking distance. There's tons of places to stay up there, but you will need a golf cart or rent a car or an ATV. So ideally stay by the beaches, but I stayed up in the mountain. I also stayed in Pilada where it's cheaper and next to a beach. And you can walk. A lot of people don't know you can walk between the beaches. And there's a path that's like a minute long. And you're 1 second you're on Pilada, the next you're on Guiones. So you can get from each town, like the main little street. Pilada only has one street of 5 restaurants pretty much and bars, maybe 7 or 8, but it's just one little strip. But you can get from that strip over to Guiones in like 20-30 minute walk, like down the beach. So super simple, very walkable. There's also tuk-tuks that will take you everywhere. So you want to rent those for like $5-10 can definitely do that. So ideally stay in Guiones. It's cheaper. You can stay in Pilada or up on the mountain. Because yeah, it's some hotels are like $1,000 a night and they were $200 a night 10 years ago. It's crazy. So some things you can do. One of the greatest restaurants I've ever been to. I was trying to think if there was a better restaurant I've been to. The food wasn't like, it didn't live up to the ambiance, but it was the prettiest view, coolest setup. It was like picnic tables. Nosara was literally a storybook. That's probably the best way to describe it. Just so many things were just out of a movie, out of a book. So this place, Coyol, is like 25 minutes up a mountain, down some dirt roads, through like random little, not even towns, but like where houses off the side of the road, fincas, I think they're called. Dogs everywhere on the street. Like you go through some local shit to get here. And whoever thought like, hey, I'm gonna put this gorgeous restaurant in the middle of nowhere, kind of, and people are gonna come, and if not, I'm gonna go bankrupt because it costs a lot. Wow. Like, I guess maybe because it is so far out, maybe the area didn't cost a lot, and especially if they got in early. But regardless, Coyol has a swing, so you can kind of do your little Instagram picture. The picnic table set up, even their like barn restaurant thing, rustic building with the bar in it. Oh my god, so cool! The lighting structures, the decor, just everything about it was. I couldn't think of a better place I've been for a meal. So if that says anything, you will want to book a week or probably more in advance because it during those peak times for sunset, 5-6 p.m. It's booked way in advance. So before you start, like when you plan your trip, book this reservation. It is a must-do thing. I can't believe, yeah, how amazing it was. I keep on saying amazing. I think I need to look up another thesaurus like shithole. I did because Coyol is the opposite of tamarindo. I'll look up antonym. What is an antonym for shithole? Wonder if it's on this little thing here. No antonyms. Um, so go there. Again, the food isn't life changing. Still good. It's still really good, but not like if the food somehow was the ambiance, it would be the greatest place to eat on earth. I still think it is probably the greatest place I've ever eaten on earth. It's in the top three. Um, Another thing, just the sunsets in Nosara are some of the most spectacular I've ever seen. So while food and drink costs can be expensive, I mean, as you will see at sunset, the entire beach comes alive. Like I don't know if it's hundreds or thousands of people, and even if it is thousands, like the beach goes on. I should know how long it is, but it's like I don't know, 10 football fields, 20. It's enormous. So there could be thousands of people on it, and you'd never know. But at sunset, it comes alive with everyone. Surfing is normally the best at the end of the day as well as in the morning. So all the surfers are out. So you're literally just watching the sun go down, dogs running around, people having a drink, watching the surfers. There's some unreal surfers out there, like full on pros. It's some of the best surfing on earth, which we'll get to. But yeah, grab some carryout or some food maybe you bought at the grocery store, a 6-pack or a bottle of wine or a rum, and have your own restaurant on the beach. Please pick up all your garbage and bring it back with you. But yeah, put down your blanket and have one of the most romantic, coolest meals you might ever have. So it's absolutely stunning. The sunsets. Have a little sip and food on the beach. You have to do that. There's a wildlife refuge with some of the largest turtle hatching numbers in the world. It's like one of the most important places in the world for turtle hatching. And you can go check that out. It's seasonal as well. I think it's August through December is when it's busiest. There still is turtle hatching during other months, but it's obviously not as major. So if you're there from August through September, it's called Oceanal Wildlife Refuge. And there's actually a group there. If you go to my article about best things to do in Nosara, there's a link that you can check out to their page, and they can tell you, hey, like this is how many are coming in today. This is how busy it is. And you can also, they have the tour guides because you have to have a tour guide to go there. So the tour guides you can hire through them, and they'll give you everything you need to know. But that is like once in a lifetime stuff. Just there, at times there can be thousands of turtles on this beach. Like it's a National Geographic. I'm pretty sure the National Geographic or what's that movie called? The docu series Earth. I think Earth filmed there. One of those ones. Like it's famous. So that's only 30, 45 minutes from Nosara, a little half day trip. Need to do it. You can horseback ride on the beach. That's, again, out of a storybook. Always wanted to do that. You can't do it in many places because it's unsafe apparently, but you can still do it here. So definitely do that. Like I said, go around and eat food and drink. I'll save restaurants for the end, but I had to tell you about Koyol. Also, the best breakfast burrito and breakfast like on toasting ever I've had. Again, top three. There may be better I've had. In Zion, I had this really good breakfast. It was Huevos Rancheros. I forget what the restaurant in Zion, but oh my god, that was one of my favorite. Why in Zion, Utah had the best Huevos Rancheros I've ever had is weird, but god, it was good. Here, my best breakfast burrito and like kind of avocado toast thing at Sunrise Cafe. Oh, literally some of the best ever. Yoga and wellness is synonymous with Nosara, as I mentioned. Even if you don't do yoga, you have to go to Bodhi Tree, and their Oceana Shala is this yoga studio overlooking the ocean. Like you have to hike up a bunch of spiral staircases, or kind of half spiral, but you go way up into the tree line, and it's all windows, and you're overlooking the jungle, the beach, the ocean, however high in the air. Oh my god, it's breathtaking. It's the best place to do yoga I've ever seen. I've only seen about 7 yoga places, but I stand by it. So check it out. And they have like 10 plus classes a day for all different types of yoga. It's actually, Bodhi is a yoga retreat hotel or resort. So they've got spin class, sound healing classes, everything. And but aside from Bodhi Tree, there's a ton of other places to do yoga that are really cool settings. Check those out. It's a Google search away. There's also, if you want to do little walks through town, there's the NCA trails for monkey and animal searching if you want to do that, or just a walk. They're really cool. You can find it again, the map on my site, or just anywhere in town. You'll notice a little map and then a trail going. So there's trails that go throughout town. So it's safe jungle treks, little walks. They're not treks, walks that are paths, and there's bridges over the water. So if you want to be safe and get, stretch your legs, get away from the dusty roads. That's miserable because the roads in Nosara are awful. So if you're walking and don't want dust in your face, don't stop. Or mountain biking, you can mountain bike there. Go down these trails. There's a ton of them. You can see the maps. And it's just really cool. And you can go monkey searching and see all the other animals, maybe see a coyote. So do that. And yeah, mountain bike. There's a what's it called? And Nosara Mount MTB Nosara is what you can do. Sorry, an email just threw me off. MTB Nosara is a mountain bike place, and you can rent mountain bikes, really nice ones. They have mountain bike tours for beginners all the way up to not professionals, but better mountain bikers to go on mountains and down paths. So really cool stuff. I said there wasn't a huge amount of nightlife in Nosara, but something you have to do is learn to salsa at Selena. Selena is, I think they're always hostels. I could be wrong, but it's like a hostel, a very well-known hostel company. They're everywhere in Latin America, and they always seem to have the parties. So you want to go to Selena on a Wednesday for salsa night, learn to salsa. And they also have parties on Friday, Saturday, sometimes Thursday, live music kind of thing. So they have their schedule out there or online. You can always check it out, see what's going on. So if you want some nightlife, that's a great spot to do it. If you love fruit and vegetables and local crafts, there's a farmer's market on Tuesdays. It starts around 8 a.m., I think. And it's right by Organico in the middle of town. And it's a great way to support local, eat fresh, see kind of crafts and all that kind of stuff. So if you like little markets, check that out. It's on the main strip of town on Tuesdays. I think there was also one that goes off on Saturdays a little bit, but I think Tuesdays is the main day. Again, if you like to party, there's always beach or jungle raves, which, I mean, rave, I'm using the term loosely. They just a party, a jungle party with DJs, or a beach party that's just really cool. Who doesn't want to do like an all night party on the beach? It's epic. Even if you're not a huge raver or partier, it's something just to do. It's nothing too wild. Like the music's pretty tame. Might pick up later at night, but it's just like good chill vibes, not like a nightclub. So yeah, that's probably it. Like it's not a nightclub, it's a rave, but it's like chill. Can be upbeat music, but it's not like a nightclub. So you're not a huge partier, but still want to do some stuff. Check it out. As mentioned, there's a path between Pilata and Nosara. Sorry, Pilata and Guiones. And there's actually little cliffs in between. So you can walk in between and there's a path and it'll take you. There's a Costa Rican flag out there and some cliffs, which great spot for sunset or just views from the beach. It's pretty cool to go check out. That's something to do. Get a drink at an underground surf speakeasy. Again, like if you just want you can actually go there and not get a drink. It's a surf shop by day, speakeasy by night. So they do, it's called Altfin and Co. And they create like custom, really cool fins for your surfboard. And so it's only if you're a good surfer, you would ever use that. You can get leashes and all that other kind of stuff. And it's an underground surf lounge that's one of the coolest places in the country to get a drink. You go down these stairs, it's all, I don't know how to explain it. It's just beautiful. Like imagine a surf speakeasy. That's it. How that sounds like the coolest place on earth. Check that out. Not many people know about it. Altfin and Co. Awesome. Craft cocktails are outrageously good. Oh my god, one of the best espresso martinis I've ever had. So great. You can day trip to Playa Garza, which is more of a local fishing village. There's a place called Perosa there. That's a really pretty spot for sunset. If you've eaten at all the restaurants in Guiones and Pilata, check that out. It's beach bag chairs, couches on the beach. it's a nice little romantic spot. Only 10 minutes away from Giona, so real close. Something else to do if you want to check it out, or if maybe the other restaurants are all full of reservations. Not a lot of people visiting know about Perosa, so drive an extra 3 minutes and get there, and maybe you can have your sunset dinner on the beach, and it's incredible. Um, there's golf carts, so who doesn't love a little golf cart hop around town? You can rent golf carts, do that. I mentioned mountain biking. It is also, you don't need me to tell you this, but if you want to surf, it is one of the greatest places on earth to surf. So you have to go if you've ever wanted to try. There's waves for beginners where you just kind of go in the wash, and then there's waves for professionals and all else. So you'll see hundreds of people in the water that day of all skill levels. And yeah, an incredible place to learn. Like, do not try and learn to surf in California. It's damn near impossible. Here, the waves, they just are longer. Like you can be more patient and be much worse and get up than if you were trying in California or somewhere where it's a bit more instant crashing waves, tons of people, cold as hell water. So a great spot if you want to learn to surf. One of the best, if not the best. I included something to do as a day trip to Rio Celeste, only if you have some other stuff you can do along the way, because it is 3.5 hours each way. You can probably do it in 3, but that's a long day, 6-7 hours in the car. You have to be there before 2 o'clock, I think, when they shut off entrances. But it's 2 hours, I think, from La Fortuna, and I did it from La Fortuna. So what's an extra hour and a half? Rio Celeste is stunning. It's such a cool little area with like the turquoise blue water, a giant waterfall. There's a little gurgling hot spring. Unfortunately, you can't get in the water, but it's really pretty to see. And there's some restaurants there. So if you have something going on, you can check that out. There's another waterfall closer, but it's you mostly need tour guides to find it, called Malanoche Waterfall. Malanoche Waterfall. And it's 20-30 minutes away from Nosara. However, the locals really want to keep it a secret and makes it very hard to find. I won't give directions because I don't want to get lost and I get in trouble because you get lost in the jungle. Another thing you have to do is eat local. There's a place called Rosie's Soda Tika. It's now got multiple locations, so it's a bit less local. If you have never listened to a podcast before or don't know what a soda is, sorry, not listened to one of my Costa Rican podcasts before, a soda is basically like a local restaurant where most of the time you'll see an abuela or grandmother or whoever I want. It's Latin America. Okay, I'm not going to be politically correct. It's normally a mom or a grandma. It's not a dad. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules. Cancel them if you want to. But they're just better cooks in Latin America, or do it more. I'm going to get myself in trouble. It's great. The food's amazing. A soda is basically mom, grandma in the kitchen, and they're just like marinating meat forever, and like the chicken's cooked in the stew and the rice and the beans, and you just eat local for $8 a plate, something like that, or 6 or 7, which is expensive. The Rosie's Soda Tika is the most expensive soda, which is still cheap. I mean, like I said, $8-9 for a meal. But yeah, I think it's now famous because there's multiple locations, and they obviously increase prices as you get more well known. There's a couple other sodas that are in Garza as well as in Nosara. So if you want to, you can probably get $4 or $5 plates there, maybe $6, with just the typical dish in Costa Rica is a protein, which is like your chicken, your steak, your fish, beans, and rice, and then like a little salad on the side, and plantains. Might be missing something, but that's the gist of it. But yeah, so you go to Rosie's Soda Tika, eat local, get the chicken, rice, and bean plate. It's immaculate. Even like the salads are so good, and they have these sauces. You gotta try all the sauces. Oh my god! Another thing to do on a Tuesday night, because it dies early on Tuesday, Wednesdays. I guess Wednesday you've got salsa night at Selena. But Tuesdays, open mic / karaoke night at Beach Dog Cafe. Pretty cool. They have a band up there who just plays all the music that they know, and if you can sing the song as part of that, you're more than welcome. I'm not sure you can bring your own instrument. There's a place, Ola's in Samara, you can bring your own instrument. I think you might be able to because it's open mic, open jam. No, it'd be jam night. So I guess you can just sing with the local band who's playing there. The food isn't great, so don't, and it's expensive because it's like a beach cafe, even though it's not really on the beach. So I wouldn't eat there, but definitely have a couple cocktails there. I would say eat and drink there if it wasn't so damn expensive for what it is. Like there's much better places at the same price you can go to for food. If you have time, I mentioned visit Samara, even for a day trip, just to check it out. It's about 45 minutes away. Really cool, tinier, laid back, stunning beach. Ola's is a great bar restaurant there, like the most quintessential bar restaurant. And actually, the food is incredible. They've got everything under the sun on this damn menu, and somehow everything tasted like really good. You would think it would be like Chili's or what's that one? The Spaghetti Factory? No, there's one right around the corner from you where it's got like everything on earth on the menu, and none of it's good because it's just they don't specialize in anything. They've got anyways, can't remember the place. Oh, the Cheesecake Factory. I hate the Cheesecake Factory. It's just they've got a million things on the menu and they're all like 7 out of 10 well done. Instead of having 15 things on the menu and do them 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, you're doing 100 things 6 out of 10. But I digress. Ola somehow does them all 9 out of 10. And it's got live music nights, it plays sports, it's got everything. So Samara is definitely more of like a laid back place, but something definitely to check out if you want to. There's jungle, like there's full on beach raves every weekend there. So if you have time, go spend 4 days there. I would spend at least 6 in Nosara though before going anywhere else, even 7. It's really great. They of course have their guided adventure trips everywhere, like ATV tours, horseback riding, zip lining, and there's those companies in town you can kind of check out and do those. They have coconuts. That's kind of a stupid thing to add, but you can grab a fresh coconut for like $2 and maybe make it a Coco Loco. You can bring your own rum and have that on the beach. Can't do that everywhere. And if you think about it, that's like a $20 drink in Maui. So here you can do it for $2 plus your own bottle. Why not? That's just great value. And bring that to the beach. Normally the people shucking them, you shuck coconuts, cutting them, they're right by the beach. So where to stay in Nosara, I kind of mentioned that already. Basically, Gionis or Pilata is great. Wherever you can find the most affordable, if that's what you want, or there's luxury resorts, luxury houses in the middle of town. Just kind of check out Airbnb and whatever hotel search engine you use and find the best option. If you do want something cheap, up by Tierra Magnifica is the hill I was talking about that kind of wrap around. There's cheaper places there because it's far from the beach. But again, it's a bit of a trek, so you need to have some sort of rental vehicle or mode of transportation. And any tips? Everywhere takes credit cards, aside from maybe like local street vendors. So there's that. Another thing is tips. So 10% tip is included in pretty much everywhere you go. And that's fine because, I mean, as if you've traveled the world, you know, tipping isn't like culture isn't everywhere. Like in Canada, it's 15%. In the US, it's 20%. In New Zealand and Australia, it's 0%. Well, it was back when I lived there in Australia. I mean, that was fucking back in the Civil War days, so I'm sure things have changed. But anyways, here they include 10%, and like the cost of food and everything, I hope it's more expensive because it goes into paying the labor, which is kind of what Australia did or does, where it's more expensive, but then you have to tip because they get a higher minimum wage. But you can still tip an extra 5%. Like if you have cash, there's nowhere to write on the thing like an extra 5%. So if you have an extra 5% or whatever, a couple of dollars, throw that on there. Of course, you can go to 20% as well if you want. But a lot of questions about tipping in Costa Rica. So kind of give you some info on that. How to get there, I explained earlier. It's like 2 hours and 45 minutes from Liberia. That's the best way to get in. There's a place called Tropical Tour Shuttles that'll shuttle you from Liberia in your private shuttle for like $140, $150. Or you can split one with other people and it's 40 or 50 per person. But then you also, there's only certain times like 9 o'clock and 2 o'clock or whatever. So you kind of have to go private if you don't land at those times, or you just don't want to wait around for other people. Or then they also like stop at, you get it. If you have multiple people, get your own shuttle. Great way to do it. Or it's 5-6 hours from San Jose, the capital, which I guess it depends on flights. If you can get a similar cost flight into Liberia, do that. If it's going to be save you hundreds to go into San Jose, then I guess do that. And then even from both of those places, there's airlines, local Costa Rican airlines that will fly you, and it takes like 45 minutes, I think, from San Jose and less from Liberia. And those are really cheap. Like once you're in the country, it's really cheap to fly around. So just kind of cost benefit analysis those out, and maybe you want to do that versus be in a car for 6 hours. So just a few options for you. And yeah, is Nosara safe? Super safe. Costa Rica is one of the safe, I think is the safest Latin American country. So that's great. Obviously, anywhere can be unsafe, so still be smart. But there's tons of people traveling alone. And yeah. And I will just end with go to Nosara now, before it changes, before it turns into Tamarindo in 15, 20 years or 10 years. Who knows where this crazy world where we're going. But love it. One of my favorite beach cities on earth. It's just stunning. And I hope you enjoy it. InspireTravelEat.com. Fraser LeVay. This is the greatest travel podcast in the universe, most likely.